I saw Heath in a show on the ABC, The Heights. He was acting. Came on screen. I was watching. It was probably 15 episodes in that you appeared.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I was watching, and I was like, oh my God, look at that man! I have to photograph him. So I put a call out on Facebook, and eventually I tracked him down, sent an email, and said, I want to enter Heath in the National Portrait Prize, and it went from there, and we met. And then I went round to Heath's place, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, it was a first for me. So, yeah, thanks, Brett.
Did you like it?
Excellent. And he got us a copy when we put that up. But putting a photo up of yourself, I sort of wasn't long before I took it down. It's like being your own best employee of the month or something.
Awesome.
Oh shit, I'm good. Oh, who's that?
It's for
but yes, that was.
Yes,
Mum did love it.
Yeah.
Mum was like, "Hey, where'd that go?" So, no, I put it away.
Yeah.
We've got paintings and stuff there, but yes, no, I did.
Yeah, good. Because that's another really interesting point, because you never really know. Like when I see a subject on the street that I photograph, I can see that person in the portrait, but you'd never really know if the person is overwhelmed with it or likes it or doesn't like the way they look and stuff like that. So you very rarely find out. I keep in contact and always send a copy to the people that I photograph, but you never get the honest feedback, which is quite fascinating because you don't know whether you hit the target. I know I got it for me of you, but I don't know.
I think so, yeah, for me as well.
Yeah.
When I look at it, it's like, it sort of reminds me like a wild black fella or something, like, because you're getting me to do a certain look.
Yeah.
And I suppose from the acting background as well, it wasn't just taking still shots like for theatre and stuff like that. So like different expressions, which sort of directed me through that as well. I think we did a couple of smiley ones, just some serious ones, and so you sort of directed me, which really helped as well.
But when you say wild black fella, I see a naturally engaged being.
Yep.
Right, and that you just sitting there looking at me. See, when I photograph too, there's a little bit of direction, but what I try to do is get out of the way. I try and get out of the way between you as a sitter and the viewer. So my thing is to just not get in the way by odd head positions or funny poses or stuff like that. So that's my goal when I'm photographing, just to dissolve somehow.
Yeah, sure, okay.
My big influence for me is around 1850 Paris, Nadar portraiture. Very simple. If you look at those images from around that period in daguerreotypes and beyond that, you can see remnants of my images in there, and they're usually wearing black. It's a dark background, it's natural light, and it's very direct. When I first went back to study, I found myself in the studio shooting portraits, and I knew I was going to be a portrait photographer, so I loved meeting people and photographing faces, but it was with a black background, black clothes, and the same thing. So I haven't moved away in 30 years from doing the same thing. Like I can chart it all the way back on little 35mm negs, badly exposed, but so that simplicity of just engaging and just becoming almost like a mirror that I try and hold up, and then that person's there and it's reflected back into, it's a really hard discipline to do, because there's nowhere to hide. If you get it wrong, it's wrong. And you have a handful of images that you go back to and they're really good and you love, and there's a handful of images that just don't get there and you never know why. Like I can go out on a day and photograph someone and then meet someone else and do the same process and the same thing in the same light, and whatever it is, there's no connection there. And it's not through my fault or the person sitting there. There's a magic happens. I don't know how to explain it. I'm lost for words. So when that happens and you see it in the camera, you go, oh my God, there it is. I've got it. So that simplicity, it's almost like you put a set of boundaries on yourself. Daylight, black background, black clothes, direct front and center, and just let the person come out. Even though I don't know, like people say, oh, you can almost see their soul. I don't know about that. I'm not looking for that. Really, with a lot of direction, there is not a lot of direction I give.
Yep.
Like, and there's a certain way where you get to the point where you go, just looking straight towards me, and then good, and then I go a little bit quiet, and you can almost wait for the person to go. You can almost see the sitter going, what's happening? What's happening? And then you just wait and wait and wait, and then you got it. So there's a little bit of a delay there in giving directions and stuff like that, especially people on the street. Because when I work on the street, man, I'm like tucked into sidewalks and things like that, and people are walking past.
Yep.
And if you look at my portraits, they look like they're in the studio, but it's not. It's out in the street where everyone's life is happening.
Outside.
So that's why I always say, the city is my casting agency and the sidewalk is my studio, because that's where it happens. The magic. You're a little bit different because I went, your backyard.
Yeah.
Facebook is my casting agency and the backyard is my studio.
Yeah. Nowadays they're a bit more so than.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So next time I'm over, I'll have to drop in and have a look.
Because did you actually go over or did you just submit it, or did you go to the Canberra?
No, here's a story, but don't tell them. But I submitted for the National Portrait Prize and they didn't select it. And then they bought it.
And then, right. Because it's like, whoa.
So I didn't get in that year. Why was that, Joe? What happened, Joe?